Registered. Hey everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading. So you might be interested in that. All right. Oh, this is awesome. Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is we got our live stream on time today. It's been pretty wild. We had this massive blizzard last night, and all the kids have a snow day today. So we had a 4-day weekend, 1 day of school, and now they're all back home, right in the middle of all of my business. But they're being good so far today. So we're rocking and rolling. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Dilemma, nice to see the first comment. That makes me know that this is working, and that is good. One cool thing, my little video streaming thing had an update, and I can actually put comments in now. So I put a quick "here we go" in the chat, just so you know I'm alive. All right, looks good. All right, just a quick thing before we really begin. Just a reminder that my home base is at cryptoinfluencers.com. The free channel is here. The pro channel is here. Welcome to the people that have come over to the pro channel. It's pretty awesome to have new faces, new ideas. Makes it always fresh and new when we have people asking questions and stuff like that. So that's awesome. So Aletrapos A. Bro, I'm in the blizzard right now. Yeah, it might have passed us and hit you because we got nailed last night. In fact, I had to go rescue my son. I have this. I've got a car I love. It's so great. It's a Maserati, and it does 4-wheel drive in the snow, and it just drives like a dream in the snow. So I drove it over to where he was stuck, and me and my other son jumped out and we're pushing him up the hill and everything else. It was pretty awesome. But anyway, here we go. We're all back and warm and happy. I love being able to be inside on a day that's cold like this. But yeah, so let's get talking about everything. Right now, I'm on the minute chart and I'm looking at Bitcoin on top and the S&P on the bottom, just SPY. And you can see how things were just kind of normal, and then suddenly we've had this volatility. Well, this volatility is in response to the FOMC meetings that were just, the notes that were just released. So we're seeing some volatility from that. But as far as Bitcoin goes, we've been kind of sideways. It's kind of been a nothing burger, but for the S&P, it's actually dropped us a bit. So let's talk about what is likely to happen. I'm going to head over to the daily now, and we'll get over to one screen. I kind of wanted to start talking today about the S&P. The S&P is in a breakout. So I know you just have to tune out the news. The news is misdirection, and it is sometimes it's even manipulation. We know this even more now that some of the Twitter files have come out and how staged a lot of these large media outlets. They're all kind of owned by government groups and lobbyists or something. I don't know. It just seems like you can barely believe some of the things you you hear. And so when I look at the S&P, I'm seeing a very bullish situation. And if you listen to the news, you see nothing but the world's going to blow up and everybody's going to die. And this is unbelievable. This is a perfect resistance line that we've broken. And what happens if this is a classic breakout? What happens is you will cross the line and then you will come back for support. We've talked about this ever since the breakout happened. This is not news. Since the beginning of this is like 3 weeks that we've been talking about this. We were going to break through it, and at some point we were going to come back and find it as support. Well, where does that support land? That's kind of the trickier question between all of these things. There is a line at the 50. The 50-day moving average would work. The line itself is a little fuzzy, so it could be anywhere in here. But the line right now is at 394, or in other words, like 3,950 or something on the actual S&P. And so it's right in here. We also have the 200-day, which is also a potential spot, and that's at 393. So all of these are sort of converging. We've had a golden cross on the daily. So there's a lot of positive things that are happening in the S&P, even though it feels like we've absolutely fallen off a cliff. But this was all expected. This is all bullish. So I was thinking that we needed probably a couple of days. Yesterday was a decent drop, but if we had today or tomorrow that dropped us down to this line or wherever the vicinity, wherever we need to be, then we'll kind of have this out of our system. And weekly we're not quite there. I mean, there's a weekly 50 that we're crossing right now, so we could find support anywhere in here, and people will start to be sold on it once we break above 412. So this is super bullish. I don't see anything wrong with this yet. You know, if things do end up getting weaker and messing up, then that's one thing. But the one thing about Bitcoin, and that's why I even talked about the S&P here, is that it does have an impact on the Bitcoin market. And with the S&P pulling back a little bit, it has coincided with a little bit of a pullback on the Bitcoin markets. It's not it looks nothing like it on the weekly, but on the daily there's a little bit more. We're seeing a little bit more pullback today. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But if the S&P impacts our daily, then we might have a day or two more of downside on Bitcoin potentially, if it's 1 for 1 and you know it pulls it with it. But Bitcoin's going to be a little bit more independent than we all think. But if S&P pulls back a little bit and then starts showing strength, strength will flow into everything. So it's almost one more reason why Bitcoin, the bulls are winning on Bitcoin. So if you guys have been following, I had a massive short, and I'm slowly exiting little by little out of my short and going fully long. And I'm about there. I'm getting closer. So this pullback was really nice for me. I was able to slowly move a lot of my short out and get positioned more long. So it's a pretty sweet opportunity for me. Now let's look at Bitcoin. Look at what is happening here. There's only one line on this chart, and it pretty much tells the story. Look at that. So right now, we have pulled off our big move up here. We had a double top on the daily, and it was sitting right at 23, about 750. 23, 735, 740, 46 if you want to get absolutely precise on it. Well, if this is a bullish chart, we found support, we found resistance back here, resistance here, and then we flip to support here. This is bullish. This is a complete handoff from resistance to support. Well, Now let's reverse and go back to where, to come back and find this as support, we had to hit a breakout point, and that happened here. Well, if this chart is still bullish, then we would break out above this level, and we would want to come back and find it as support. So I don't want a wick. We actually don't want to see a wick right here. Today's action is actually perfect. Looks like LinkedIn had an error, so I guess that LinkedIn dropped off. But if you're, everyone else is still here. So this candle closes in 4 hours, and we actually want it to close about right where we are. This would be really nice because we have candle bodies here. If we could get a candle body to flip as support on the other side of this resistance, and then we start, if we have a flat day or something, so if S&P goes down tomorrow or whatever, but we manage to put in a doji or a flat, quiet candle here, and then we start moving back up again, it might be breakout time. So these things are, I'm not sad about this at all. In fact, I'm kind of grateful for the opportunity to lessen the damage on my on my short and get ready for some moves up. There's a lot of bullishness in this chart, and there are a lot of fail safes here too, because we have the 20 to catch us if we wick down, or if we have a further move down. And the other thing is right here, if we have the bodies of these candles here, that is now lower than our 50. So our 50 is likely to be a place of a higher low to keep our momentum going. There's a lot of good things here. All right, I've got a question here. Oh, just an advertisement. Never mind. Okay, cool. So lots of bullish stuff going on with this chart, and we're just going to let it play out. When we look at the entire market, it's interesting to look at this. So Bitcoin is experiencing a death cross, and that has made Bitcoin a little hesitant, and that has made the entire market a little bit hesitant. And we've been really, really battling hard against this. And let me tell you, if we manage to break above this, it will be explosive. Breaking above the 200-week moving average is not a quiet event. This is such a pivotal point in the market. We've battled it for 6 days in a row. 6 days in a row, we've been right up in this area. We've pulled back right now, and if we take another run at it and actually break it, this will be explosive. It's probably not going to be a quiet thing because it's such an important level. So that's an important thing to say. But on this weekly, this 200 week, we have this death cross. Right now, the death cross is in the past. We've already had the death cross, which is actually really awesome, because the fear of the death cross has almost more impact than the actual death cross. I mean, what happens with the death cross is we have two important resistances coming. So we have a 200 and a 50 that are both resistance. And the further you get away from that, you have a chance to kind of climb over one and then climb over the other, and you can kind of turn this thing around. A weekly red is not game ending, but see how we're right here. This is too early, but we're finding support on the monthly, which also closes in 4 or 5 days, and we have support currently. So this is temporary, but we have current support on the top of this, which is just bullish. There's so much bullish stuff going on here. But back to that death cross. The death cross is major. So the death cross is happening on the on Bitcoin, but if you look at Ethereum, there is no death cross. The 50 is still coming down, but the 100 is rising. And if we cross above the 50, there should be no death cross on this. And I don't know if we've had one. I don't know if this is all the history, or yeah, I don't think we've ever had a weekly death cross, because here's our Here's our 200. It just kind of showed up more recently. So there's no death cross on Ethereum, so there's no fears about that. If you go to total market cap, there is no death cross on the total market cap. We are currently finding support off of the 200 and resisting on the 50. So we're ranging between the two. If we climb above the 50, we will miss the death cross. So there won't be a death cross on the total market cap if that happens. If you take out Bitcoin and Ethereum, same story. We're above the 200. We have support on the 200 and we're actually showing strength. Look how much strength is in this move. If you ever, if there's a gap between support and resistance, this market is falling apart. There's a ton of bears in this. But then you have, you've got your support and you've got your resistance. So this is your new range. You fall through support and you would come up and hit resistance as this would be your resistance point. Instead, we pulled up through it. So we had a slip from support and resistance, and you can see that in the RSI as the RSI is pulled up. So this market is turning around. We're hesitating now at the top where we're revisiting old resistance. So if you revisit old resistance, now we're forming reverse head and shoulders. Like we're starting to whittle away on resistance here, and that's when breakouts happen. So the total market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum looks really good. The total market cap looks even better because we've already made it through these points. This was resistance, it's now support, and now we're battling with the 50. Like we're literally weeks away from a major explosion if our momentum stays intact. But the total market cap is showing a lot of strength. If you pull out Bitcoin and Ethereum, it looks beautiful. Let's look at others. So this is all micro caps. Micros are resisting off of the 200. So there is a potential death cross on the others, which these micro caps. But yeah, so this is kind of weighing into our average. But most of the big coins are actually showing a lot more strength. In this case, we're doing kind of the same thing as Bitcoin though, because see we're above a support level and reaching up for a high, so we've slipped past where a resistance should have been found right here. So a lot of bullish stuff all the way across these. Yeah, so makes me very, very excited about the Bitcoin moving on into the future. So today it could be just what we need. I am not sad at all to see this pullback. Some people have been freaking out, and if you're freaking out, it's kind of a signal that your position is too big. You're too emotional because your position is way too large. But if you stand back and look objectively at this move, it is very pretty. And in fact, I'd love to even get back to this line, 23,750 by close. If so, it would be a beautiful handoff of resistance to support, and a move to the upside might just be what we need to get us through. And yeah, it'd be really cool to let this market blow wide open. Getting above the 200 would be a massive signal. This 200, it has been so pivotal in the history of Bitcoin. It has been support forever, and it usually just signals that the bear market, there's just so much upside on the other side of this. And right now we're battling with it. So we're there. It's pretty cool. All right, that's pretty much all my content. I don't really see any questions in chat, so we might just wrap up a little early. But it's exciting. There's just some really, really exciting things that can happen. I don't want us to get too overheated. I know that there's really no resistance till 30,000, and then there's nothing till 36 or 35. So we could get pretty overheated. I'd really hate to see us do this like, you know, that we had done back in 2018 and 19, where we just pulled really, really fast. But I kind of think it's inevitable. There's a lot of eyes on Bitcoin. There's a lot of excitement. There have been some things to slow us down a little bit. So this death cross has definitely made us hesitate, but we're gonna get there. All right, cool. We got McGee showing up in chat. Do you think we close above 25K before March? Well, March is only our monthly candle closes in 6 days. I think it's a little close to call, but our monthly chart is very, very, I mean, I guess there's two ways to read this, right? We stopped on resistance right at the 50, and usually it takes another candle to get us above it. If this turns out to be a doji candle, that's kind of a reversal. That would not be great. So if we actually retreat back down, this actually might spell a red month in March. But if we clear it and put any decent amount of a candle body, so what would make this look better? Yeah, if our candle body was like, let's say we closed it at 24,750, something like that, just kind of double the size of this, it would not be a reversal. The tighter this candle gets, the more it becomes a reversal candle. And we're kind of at decision point with only 6 days to go. So I don't know if we'll get there. The ramifications of us not getting there are probably more important than whether we'll get there in time. It's going to be a little hard to predict. If our pullback today puts us in range, like if we get this pullback and then we get another attempt in the next 3 or 4 days, we could totally do it. And honestly, even if we had a few days rest and within 6 days it took us a move up to here, suddenly our monthly would look really bullish and we'd probably launch in March. So there's a lot of details that are still coming out. It's hard to predict when you don't have data. And the data we do have, it's bullish, but it's hard to say how it'll play out exactly. But to be honest, this is kind of a retreat that we need, and there's undeniable support off of this. We did not last very long under 23,750. If I go to the 5-minute chart and kind of zoom out a bit, this was like, yeah, we had like 2 hours under this level, and we popped back up. And for a day that we've really been going down strongly, only 2 hours pulled down in this area. We could get a decent bounce, and by end of day, yeah, any kind of a wick on this is just bullish. But I'd really like to see the candle body land on here, because then it would be a cleaner place of support, and we'd get a cleaner lift off. So yeah, interesting question. Blue Sky, 6 daily candles got rejected from the 25,000 level. So what would give Bitcoin the strength to close above in the upcoming days? Well, usually you want to do things in a slow, methodical way. So if I go back to like the total market cap, maybe that's not, yeah, there's market cap. You can kind of see it. It's a little fuzzy, but this is the one where we'd kind of hit a high and then we'd come back, and then we broke through our resistance and came back and found support. Then we broke through our resistance, came back and found prior resistance as support, and we'd kind of marched on up. This was our slip that pulled us backwards, but now we're doing exactly the same thing. Resistance here, we've pulled up, now we're looking for support, and we're just marching up. It doesn't take a lot to get through it. It just takes the right market structure. And if Bitcoin has a resistance that we break through like we kind of pulled back immediately and respected that level. But what we want is we want to see some blue sky. We love this window. This little window is golden. We love to move above a resistance point, hang out at a higher level, and then come back down and find it as support. If we do a perfect handoff right here, give it a couple, like we could give it a day or two. This is enough. Like this is the right structure, because if we pull back up from here, if we pull back up from here, then in a bull market, we have this level of resistance flipping to support. If we find support off of this, the next move is an attempt at this level. And if we're in a bull market, we should break through and find this level as support. This is what should happen. This is the greater than 50% chance, you know, when the market is just performing without a lot of external pressures. There are plenty of external pressures happening, so I don't know if I'll get my perfect scenario, but we have resistance flip to support. We have resistance flip to support. This resistance, it is very, very likely that it will flip to support. And this move here that we're seeing today is probably exactly what we need. This move down is exactly what we need to find support and make one more attempt. If we get back up into 25,000 after a day or two of a rest down here, we should blow it. Like we should be there. It would be pretty good. That's why I'm exiting my short and trying to get as much long exposure as I can right now, because the upside is way better than the downside. Where this falls apart is we move back to the 20 or we move back to the 50 and we languish and spend some more time. But given the where we are in the market, you know, are we at the bottom of the bear market? Here's the bottom of the bear market so far. Are we moving out of it? Absolutely. There's tons of evidence that that is happening. And if we come back and mess around in this area and find more support, this is all temporary. There's no, I don't see the scenario where we go and make a new low at the bottom of this. I just don't see it unless the world blows up. Like it's just we've already put the pain in the market. The pain has already been completely resolved through this. For us to move above these pain points and completely come back all the way back down to the bottom of this, it would be really unusual. The emotions are just not here to allow for that. The smart money is already making moves. If the smart money gets an opportunity to load up more down in this area, they will, and they're not going to let it fall. That's my opinion on that. Every time it rejects, the rejection is weaker than the last one. Yeah, that happened. Let me go to the 4 hour and see if so on the 4 hour, we did see a rejection that was much stronger. And then we pulled up and we had a rejection to here. The candle bodies ended up pushing us all the way up to here. And then we attempted again. So this sort of negates that theory. I was thinking that we might have an ascending triangle on our hands, but this move down here is definitely significant. If it's not as significant as this, so this low here was 23,500. If we end up finding support higher than that, which we currently are, and then we go back up, then that theory would be still intact. I don't like to see a move from the green zone to the yellow zone, though. This does make me a little nervous, but that is on a pretty low, it's a lower time frame. I don't trade the 4 hours. I trade the daily and the weekly. And the daily and the weekly still look really, really strong. So I'm liking what I see, even with this day. So awesome question, though. Cool. You guys are great. You know, It's so cool to be able to get on here. And I know there's not like a ton of people, but I like our little small little club. It's pretty awesome. But that's the way I'm reading these charts. We are definitely building, not losing strength. And I still think that the case for losing strength is temporary, because the longer time frames still look strong. If we had a little bit of a red candle at the end of our week, there'd be nothing wrong with that. You know, moving a big candle, and then coming back and being above the 50% mark. This is a bullish candle. So there's just a lot here and lots of upside. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Do you like anyone else's crypto content other than yourself? You are awesome, by the way. Thanks, Blue Sky. I like to listen to a couple people. Somebody actually in chat said, "Hey, Benjamin Cowan's got a worst case scenario," and I listen to his stuff sometimes. The problem I have is that a lot of these other guys, they're trying to. The hard thing I have with it is that they're trying so hard to get clicks and likes that they kind of cherry pick a scenario, or you can tell that they're emotionally invested in one outcome, and they and they find things that support it. Me, I just try to stay more objective than that. I'm not married to a full outcome. I'm just reading the charts for what they are. You know what I mean? When I'm wrong, I'm just wrong, you know? But when the evidence tells me I'm wrong, I'm ready to switch sides, because you have to you have to go with the market. If you're fighting the trend, you're losing. So I always have to be pretty objective there. But yeah, there are a couple of guys I like. There's a guy, Steve, at Crypto Crew University. He's got some good things to say. I've never signed up for him or done anything there, but I like some of his thoughts and ideas. There's an old guy I used to follow a long time ago named Tone Vase. I followed him back in like 2013 and 2014 and all that. And he's just a wild character. The thing about him is that he doesn't take any crap, and so his views on the market are pretty honest, and I like that. So sometimes it's contrarian, and I like different viewpoints. But at the end of the day, I do my own TA. I'm curious. Sometimes I listen to some of these things to just see what retail's thinking, and it's not because I like their advice, but it's because I like to hear what the herds are drinking and kind of get what the news is saying, because it gives me a chance to see if there's a contrarian side to it, or if there's any like actual facts or anything there. But yeah, I kind of take everything I watch with a grain of salt, but all of my stuff I'm usually very, it's very very, there has to be evidence for it, or else I don't have an opinion there. Cool. I guess we're heating up a little more in chat, so that's cool. Barbarian Cauldron, you said, can you look at Casper? Curious on what you think, what it can do in the next bull run. Maybe. Let me see. Mayweather says, in what way did FTX crash affect the timing of Bitcoin's true bottom? Apparently, it didn't change anything. That's what's crazy. So when I go out to my huge all-time view, monthly zoomed out. Oh wait, I put it up here. These big red arrows are the halving events. And if you look at the time between the bottom and the halving event, they're almost perfect. Like, it's really unusual. So our distance from the bottom to the halving event is generally about 550 or 600 days or something like that. And this bottom was perfect when you look at it from the next halving. So it was very interesting. It's funny how many people try so hard to manipulate the market, but it's still doing the same thing. It still has the same heartbeat. It still has the 4-year cycle in place. It hasn't shown a significant difference. I don't think those days will last forever though, because the halving event impacted the most when miners had the most Bitcoin and they would sell and be emotional, and that halving event impacted the economy in a major way. Now that the majority of the Bitcoin is mined, I think there's more money out in other places. So uh, it's become a group self-fulfilling prophecy at this point, but it's still working, and you gotta trade what's working, you know. Um, Pepe just arrived. Did you see Benjamin Cowan's worst case scenario video? Yeah, I did, and I made a comment on that comment. What I struggle with is that he points to these charts, and there are times when an asset is moving up, and he's like, "See, this has made Bitcoin go up." But then you can visibly see in his same chart that the times when the asset is going down, Bitcoin's still going up, or it's doing something different, and so there's no correlation. And so he's hanging his hat on something that has no correlation, and it just drives me nuts. And so I have a hard time taking his entire opinion at face value when he's not he's kind of trying to paint a picture that isn't there, and that drives me nuts. Michael Priestler, hello, subscribed yesterday. Yeah, welcome to the Pro channel. It's so cool. I shouted you out on the Pros video this morning, so that's so awesome. I have no idea what Casper is. We'll just check really quick. Casper trades on KuCoin. Looks fairly new. Daily. Well, just looking at this coin, it has definitely ranged really tightly. There's not a lot of opportunity on the table for this guy. The bottom of our range to the top of our range is 80%. So this thing has barely doubled when a lot of other coins have done much better. I can tell that with these long wicks that the volume is low, so you could get in and out of a position. Like getting a sizable position in this won't work. Also, we just dropped below the 20, finding that as resistance. We do have averages above us, but yeah, I wouldn't trade this because I can tell that anything that has this much volatility on it, every single candle is hairy. It has long wicks on both sides. That means that the market maker is trying to keep the story in the middle, and then you have people throwing this around. That means there's probably few holders. That means there's probably whales that have a lot more control over this than they should. And I don't like leaving my trades in the hands of somebody that has too much control. So I would not be interested in a coin like this. But yeah, hopefully that sort of kind of view into how I do TA. There's a lot you can learn from, just little nuances in this chart. Is it trending upwards? Yeah. I bet it'll come back and find support off the 50 or something, but it's probably not going to do anything too much different than the rest of the market. And if it does, then I'd be looking for exits because somebody's really heavily moving this market around. Cool. Blue sky. Steve is always flipping through. One day he's like, Bitcoin has never done this before, and he's all bullish. The next day he's all bearish. I like your balanced approach. Great. Oh, Garrett Soloway is very popular. I don't know who that is. But yeah, it's hard to, so this is the thing. Just because a person is famous doesn't make him a good trader. In fact, the more famous they are, probably the worse trader they are, because what they're good at is getting people emotional. You get lots of likes and followers if you're an emotional person. Just look at Jim Cramer. Look at these guys that have a huge following. A lot of times it's because they're extremely emotional. They're able to draw people in. They get people excited, or they get them really scared. And they make terrible traders, but they sure can draw a crowd. And so you have to be very careful about that. Me, I'm not trying to get clicks and likes. I don't think any of my videos have ever started with like and subscribe. I'm not trying to you know, I'm trying to get some kind of influence out there because I know the things that I teach people are helpful. Having a level head, moving slower, add patience to your mix, reduce your exposure, watch your, risk management is so important. And you do that through patience and position size and all these things. Like I'm trying to teach people how to not get wrecked. And there's value there. And I think that more people should hear these things. But, you know, I'm not trying to make a living on advertising on YouTube. You know what I mean? So I just read what the chart shows and we try to make educated decisions. And if we're right, we're happy. And if we're wrong, hopefully we haven't overexposed ourselves and we can navigate as we need to. So that's the goal. Jake wants me to take a look at algo. That's on the list. So with algo, this isn't, MEXC doesn't have the best historical charts. So all we can really show is what's happening in the most recent time frame. But there was a very important support right here, and we hit it several times, and it came back into play. Like we had a little battle with it, and an attempt above it, and then fell back in the next candle, and then we really fell off. But we hit perfect resistance on it. So this line is absolutely intact. And not only did we hit it once, we hit it twice. And if you look at this little move, this move here, and then our complete V-shaped insanity here, we have another V on the other side. We have a head and shoulders here. It's a reverse head and shoulders. So this is extremely bullish, but we did reject off of our 200 twice. So we're coming back down and we need more support. So in this case, we've hit a resistance. We're coming back to the 50 for support. We'll probably get it. We'll probably range a little bit. In fact, if we sloped downwards, it would actually be helpful. But with our 50 coming up so fast, we probably won't get it. But yeah, it's only a matter of time that we revisit this 28 or 29 cent level. And when it goes, there is a target on this because a head and shoulders comes with a target. The target is an increase of at least 12.5 cents. So if you're at 29, you're looking at 41.5 cents as a target. Or with crypto, you might get a 76% gain from here, which is higher than the 41 or 42. But that's how I'm reading this chart. If you, it just looks really good. And see how we've had two resistance at the same point, and then we're coming back. That's exactly what Bitcoin's doing. We've had resistance many times now, several days, at the same level. And when it doesn't break, even though we tried for 6 days, it didn't break, it's fine to come back and find support. We come back, find support. The next attempt is going to be way stronger. It's going to be way stronger than this overreached, really ugly attempt at this level. So if we get a decent structure in place and then try again, we have a much higher chance of breaking it. Is MEXC KYC only or no KYC like KuCoin? It's no KYC. I've tried to KYC, but they haven't processed me or something. So I'm not sure what the deal is. But you have all of the available margin and all the other stuff available on MEXC without being KYC'd. So it's pretty sweet. Good questions. James Roy, your integrity is clear for people to see. Cool, thanks. I hope so. I just love this stuff. And, I'm kind of that, there's that Bitcoin meme where the guy's standing in the corner and the people are dancing and they're like, they don't know anything about Bitcoin or something. And it's kind of that thing, is that I really enjoy it. I love technical analysis. I love looking at charts and watching everything, and it's so fun, and it's more fun with people. And so I don't do this because I need to. I do make a living trading. That's how I make a living. But I do like to share it with people and teach people the right way to do it because it's, it is fun. You know, all the people that know me are so sick and tired of hearing about Bitcoin. I needed a different place to talk about it. My wife's not so interested in it as I am. So, you know, she's heard all she ever wanted to know about Bitcoin and doesn't need any more. And I'm still going full bore. Does my family share passion for trading, or do they hate it? I have my brothers, they like it, and my parents, they're doing it too. So I've got most of my family in. I tried to get him in early, but nobody really took the bait. You know, I got involved in 2012, so it's now over 10 years. Like, it's been a long time. And they all watched me with my $15 Bitcoin and all how excited I was and everything. And they just didn't buy in. What's wrong with those people? It took until it was, you know, 10 or 15,000 before everyone started getting excited about it. So, but you know, that's human nature. It's human nature. So, good times. Anyway, this has been fun. I appreciate the commentary and the questions, and it's fun to look at some other charts and things, see what you guys are interested in. So that's why I look forward to Wednesdays. But that's probably good for me. You guys are awesome. Thanks for supporting me and being here. It is a lot of fun. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. See if I can find my mouse again. There we are. All right, cool. We'll see y'all. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.